it feels like if you're able to get out of the East and into the Stanley Cup Finals, it feels like you got a pretty good shot to win the whole damn thing. So, do you get a sense that this really is for the Rangers Stanley Cup or bust right now?
Stanley Cup or bust this year. They'll be back next year again with everybody, a year or more experience. What I think is that it's Stanley Cup or bust for this group that includes the kids, that includes um, their D. Um, I think if they get knocked out, and again, they're going to be knocked if they're knocked out, they're going to be knocked out by a very good team. So it's not like it's going to be an upset. Oh, how could they lose?
Right.
Um, but what I do think and what I do expect is for them to evaluate this kind of roster construction over the summer. They have a lot of decisions to make. There are a lot of contracts coming up. We've talked about it. They have to sign Heedle. They have to sign Lafreniere. They have to sign Miller to contracts. They have they're going to be facing a number of dilemmas as who to keep, who to let go. I think these playoffs are going to inform every one of those decisions. I think if they find that they actually do need a matchup checking line, hard edged, physical third line, then they can't keep the kids. They can't keep all of the kids. They cannot have that as their third line. And so what does that mean? Does that mean that, okay, we take a look and Kako moves up, to right wing on the top line next year, Lafreniere, again, it's a circular issue. Where are these guys going to play? But I do think that their the results in this year's playoffs, how they play, how they compete in this year's playoffs will inform every single decision they make over the summer. And they may have to trade talent for grit, which is kind of what they did 2 years ago. And now they've kind of gone back. It's really interesting. They traded for Sammy Blais, and that was just an unfortunate set of circumstances. We never got the chance to see how that trade might have played out if Blais had been healthy. Obviously, they traded a first line right wing for him. They got nothing out of him. He was hurt after 15 games, so we just don't know. But I think that's the kind of trade I think the jury is almost going to have to make this summer if they get knocked out in the playoffs. I'm sorry, because of a lack of grit, because of a lack of sandpaper, because of a lack of size. If that ultimately undermines them, they're going to have to fix their team. They're just going to have to reconstruct their team, and so that's going to mean a different type of group next year. But for this year, they're all in for this year. But it doesn't mean that if they get knocked out in the first year, then next year they have to, next year they're starting out at the bottom.